Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to Card Making Project 531. Today we're going to make a gorgeous card using our Anna Griffin supplies, and I think this card is quite versatile for you to be able to use other dies and maybe flower stickers that you have, and they will just be interchangeable, as it were. Everything I do use I should put in a detailed list on my blog, so please be sure to check it out. There's always plenty of photos on there as well. Now I love hearing from you, I love getting your comments and your messages. Please remember to tag me on Facebook, then I can see the photos that you include me in, and it's nice seeing your creations. I like knowing that I've given you ideas. The card that we make today, the outside of the card where we actually make it into a landscape card, is the same card that you could make for your swivel and pop dies from Anna Griffin. So I've been asked about that. We did create a video quite a while ago about swivel and pop dies to make a card, but this is the outside of the actual card itself. So your swivel and pop dies would fit that with the same measurements that we use in the video. And I just want to say thank you, because I appreciate hearing from you. I know I've just touched on that. I appreciate your comments and your questions, and it is great. So hit that like button on Facebook if you want to see more behind the scenes. Let me know what you think. If you're still enjoying seeing me at the beginning, I know so many of you are, and it's great to have new viewers as well. So without further ado, let's have a look at today's gorgeous project. So for this gorgeous project, and it will be gorgeous, we're going to be using the Anna Griffin Sentiment Stamp and Die set. We're going to be using the Floral Tags and Sentiment set, and we're actually going to be using this flower here, the rubber stamp, and we're also going to be using the Decorative Edge dies. These were from a while ago, but you know, we've got them in our stash. This would work with some of the newer dies that Anna has for the edges, and the different things she's brought out. And we're also going to be using one of the border trim dies. So, in fact, we're going to be using two of the border trim dies there. So our base card is going to be a 7x5 landscape card. Now, this method of making a landscape card will also work with making the base cards for your swivel and pop. So I know a lot of people have wrote to me. I've already done the swivel and pop videos for both the dies and the card making set, but they want to know how to make the outside, which I'm sure we've covered already. But if you've not seen it, this is it. And this is the way to make a 7x5 landscape opening card. So the first thing you're going to need is a piece of cardstock in your chosen colour. I'm using the Anna Griffin Ivory, and it's cut out to 7x5 inches. I have stamped it on the back with my handmade stamp, but the first one is 7x5 inches. Your second piece of cardstock is 8x5 inches. The extra inch you want to score an inch. So you have one piece that is 7x5 with a 1 inch score on. And that score you are going to fold. You're going to use your bone folder, move that out of the way, to make sure that is a really nice sharp score. Once you've done that, add tape to it, double-sided tape, and then you're going to simply marry one up against the other. Now I'm going to turn it slightly just so I can see, and make sure it's the right way around as well. You're going to put edge to edge like that. And once you're happy that both edges are married up, get the rest of your edges together, then you can use your bone folder again to press down and make sure that is a nice sharp crease and that it's stuck together. Now don't worry about this bit because we're going to cover that little bit up because we're going to make an insert to cover it so you won't see it. That is a landscape card. That is the size you need for your swivel and pop. So again, one piece at 7 by 5 inches, one piece at 8 by 5 inches. The piece that's 8 by 5 inches, score 1 inch in to create the flap and stick them pieces together. And that will give you your card. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is make the inside. Now I've got to say I've got a little bit carried away with my stamping here because I've used the stamp from the Floral stamp and embellishment stamp and I've just stamped my way along the centre. I've stamped in black ink. I could have done it a little bit paler, I know, which I think it looks quite nice like that. I've used one of the sentiment stamps for the words thank you, and then what I'm going to do is one of the border trims. I've die cut it in Anna's green metallic cardstock from 7 by 5 inches, and I've simply cut the whole die cut in half. So then we can add that to our card. So I'm just taking my tape away and then we can add everything in and it will cover that unsightly crease. Well, it's not a crease, is it? It's just where it sticks together. And I'm saying unsightly. If you use double-sided cardstock, you would never know. So we've got 2 border trims and our insert. So our insert panel, I'm not being wasteful. I've used part of a card that I used for a different project. I cut half of it away. So I've trimmed it down to fit the inside. And I can pop that over that join like that. And then I've got my 2 border trims. Now I can either use it this way or the other way. I think I'm going to use it this way. So I'm taking it nearly to the seam of the card and then I'm going to press it down and make sure that still closes. I can trim the edge away and then I'm going to do the same for the top. Add it just to the top, run it along the edge and press it down. And then I can just trim the 2 edges at the back so that it fits perfectly. There we go. And that, oops, is our inside finished. So now I can turn our attention to the outside. I'm going to use my bone folder again just to make sure that crease stays in place nice and sharp. And the base of our card is going to be from the lovely Layers collection from Anna. I've trimmed it slightly to be able to fit the front of our card. And now some people might want to be frugal with the centre because we're going to cover the centre over. And this is just for a little bit of background towards the top and the bottom. So you could always take the centre away if you're wanting to use that for something else. So the first thing after we've added our base border is I've used Anna's gold rose cardstock with our decorative edge border. I've cut it out of the same 7 by 5 piece. I've cut it one side and then I've turned it round and cut the other side and then I've embossed it as well. I've also cut the shadow layers. Now I'm just going to put that to one side. I've cut 2 shadow layers as well. Now I've got tape on one of them because I want to join the shadow layers together. And I am going to have to kind of judge this because I want to get them roughly in the same place for the actual ornate layer. So I'm going to put them one on top of the other, like so. Try that again, Anne-Marie. There we go. Hopefully that might be... See, at home you can do that flat on the desk, but I'm just kind of wafting about in mid-air. And then I want to make sure my ornate layer fits, which it does. I could have put them a little bit closer together, but it's not an issue for me. So we'll pop one on top of the other. The shadow layers had 3D foam on the back, and that can now go on the front of our card like that. And you see what I mean about the back border bit? So you could be frugal with the centre if you just wanted the trim. So how pretty does that look already? Next we have the other decorative border that was on the sheet, because there was two borders I showed you, and we're using both of them. I've trimmed this one in half, and I've got red tape on the back of it. I've used the other border trim die with the bows on, and I've trimmed the bows away. I've got flat tape on the back, and I'm going to make this into, I'm covering the lattice over, I'm giving it a background, and I want the background to be the same pattern as previously we've had on the card. So what I've done is I've got tape on the back of the actual trim, and then I've cut a piece of cardstock to fit the back of the actual border, and that will sit behind the border. Now I know we've done this before on a previous video, so now that will match the back. I've also got flat tape on the back of this. The two pink ribbon trims that I have, I want to add these just slightly to the back of the trim that we've just created. Now I'm hoping the tape will stick there, and no, I'm going to add a little bit of wet glue just to the tip to be able to pick up those borders, because my tape doesn't reach to the edge. So now I can add one of the pink borders to the top, and it will stick with the glossy accents, and then I can turn it round and do the same at the other side. There we go. It's all about layering. So I can turn that over, and then I can peel the red tape away that I have on the back. I've only used red tape because it was a thinner piece of cardstock to add the tape on. There we go. So then this can go through the centre of our card. Oops. There we go. We can just marry that up and press it down. There we go. So we've built up some gorgeous layers there, and the colours, nice colours. I do like pink and green together. I think there's something about it, it jumps out. Now this is a good one for using up the flowers that you might have that you've had in kits that you've got left over, I've got some flowers here from the quote and sentiment stickers. Let's see what it was called. It was called quote and flower stickers. And I'm just peeling the backs of them away and I'm placing them onto the centre, just so that I can have a little bit of wiggle room if I need it. And then I think that's the last flower. Add that roughly about there. Now I can think I want that a little bit more to that angle. I want that a little bit more over there, or the rose. And until I press them down, I've got that little bit of time to have a play with them. So I think that's roughly about right. Now I can press them down. Bear in mind, if you're a little bit dubious about maybe the stick on a sticker, you could use a little bit of glossy accents, a little bit of wet glue, just to help them stick. That one's stuck down already. So most times there's no need. I know when it's warmer here I might need a little bit of help with the glue, but not normally. So the last thing, in fact it's not the last thing, I'm going to add a bow, and I'm going to add my bow at the end here. And I know some of you are thinking, oh, do it that way. But I'm going to go that way. There we go. And I've got two of the mini sentiments from the mini flower and sentiments collection. And these are stickers. I'm just going to add one, I would say, under that flower there, under the rose, and slightly under the tulip. Press that down. And then I've got a second one that I'm thinking will look nice just at this side of the flowers. Slotting that in between the leaves and the bottom of the flower there, and press that down. There we go. And that is our card finished. How beautiful do those layers look? And the inside matches so well. I do like that design with the stamps, and I literally just stamped one flower after the other and had fun with it. That's what it's all about, and it's just so pretty. It stands up perfectly. Would go in a normal envelope because you've only really got two layers on there. Sorry, I was just looking at the layers. It's just so pretty. And I love all the die cut layers. That makes it even more prettier. Such a gorgeous card. I'll take lots of photos of it, and I appreciate you watching. I really do, because I know sometimes people say, oh, why don't you do this, or why don't you do that? But you know what? It's just us crafting together. And I think it's nice that we go to a good pace, we don't go too fast, and I try and show you, even if I make a boo-boo, you know, let's keep that in. I don't do a voiceover, I'm chatting as we're making. And I think that's great, because I think that kind of makes it more, I'm just doing it for you, you know, I'm sat with you. So I really do appreciate you watching. So give me the thumbs up, share with your crafty friends, and I would just like to say thank you so much for watching. I shall see you next time.